All right, everybody. So the next video here is continuing homeostasis, right? Balance in the body. Specifically, we're going to talk about negative feedback loops. So as mentioned before, there are two major feedback loops your body uses in order to maintain homeostasis. Negative feedback and positive feedback. Negative feedback is not bad. All right, that's the first thing, just to throw that out there. I'll explain why it's called that in a second. But the point is, a feedback loop's goal is to maintain homeostasis. Maintaining homeostasis is what keeps you alive. So if it's called negative feedback, does it really mean that it's bad? I hope not, because it helps you stay alive. All right. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. Please don't just think it's bad. Um, so why is it called negative feedback? It is because the role of negative feedback loops are to ensure that your body returns back to normal. All right. A little weird. Here's an example, right? And I'm going to use these diagrams to help us out here. I'm going to put this on present mode too. So let's take a look at your house. Your house uses a negative feedback loop if you have air conditioning and heating in your house, right? If you have like the automatic ones that do it for you, like central air. Normal temperature, right? Let's say it's 70 degrees, all right? If your room starts to get a little warm, let's say you have a whole bunch of people over and the temperature's slowly increasing, right? It's going to get hotter, hotter. Now it's like 75 degrees, right? It's getting too hot. What's going to happen is a thermostat in your house is going to detect the increase in heat, right? That's not where your house wants to be. It wants to be at 70 degrees, right? So what it's going to do is it's going to detect the change, send a signal to a different part of your house, right? Let's say an organ within the house that's responsible for lowering your temperature. In this case, the organ we're talking about is your air conditioner. Your air conditioner will turn on, start pumping in cooler air, and slowly your house temperature will decrease back to normal. If it starts to get a little cold because it just so happens all your friends left, the AC is still pumping. In fact, it started to cool the house down a little too much. So 70 is the normal in this case. Now it's at like 68 degrees. If your room temperature gets too cold, once again, your thermostat will detect the change in temperature. In this case, it'll signal a different part of your house, a different organ, to do something else. In fact, it'll even do two different places, right? It'll tell your AC to turn off, and it'll tell your heat to turn on. So now your heater turns on, and it starts to warm up the house, and it brings it back to normal. So, important facts here. There has to be a detection of what's going on. What is the change? Not just that, your body, or in this case your house, is going to send a signal to another part of your house and say, hey, fix this. Sometimes it's only one location, sometimes it's multiple locations. In this case, we saw two locations, right? When it got too hot, there was a signal to your AC to turn on, and I didn't mention it before, but a signal to your heater to turn off. When it got too cold, it was the opposite. Your heater turned on to heat up the house, and your AC turned off. What does that look like inside the body? Here's one example of a negative feedback loop. If your body temperature gets too hot, right, your body is going to recognize that. You don't have a thermostat, but you kind of do. It's called your hypothalamus. That's going to detect the change in your body temperature. It's going to hit different organs in your body, such as your skin is going to start having you sweat, right? Your skin's going to be told, hey, start sweating, as well as dilation of the blood vessels. So now your blood vessels are going to be told, hey, open up, right? That's why, if you ever notice, if you get really hot in the gym or anything, you start to see your blood vessels pop up on your arms, maybe, right? That's a way for your body to try to cool down. Once that starts to happen, your body will start to decrease in temperature and return to normal. If the opposite happens, you get too cold, again, your body will detect that, your hypothalamus again, and it's going to decrease sweating, and it's going to decrease or constrict your blood vessels, do the opposite of what was above. Not only that, but it's going to activate a third component in this case, your muscles. And those muscles are going to be told to start to shiver, right? And that'll start to help you warm up, produce extra heat. So my points are this. Negative feedback is when your body does the opposite, does the negative. You get too hot, your body's going to do something to cool you back down to normal. You get too cold, your body's going to do something to bring you back to normal. That's a negative feedback loop. Things are going to go up and down, but the goal is to return to normal. All right, back to homeostasis. How does it do that? Signal's got to be read, right? So who's going to detect it? What part of your body's going to detect it? That signal is going to get sent to your brain to analyze it. Your brain's going to send that signal somewhere else in the body, right? As we see here, maybe in this case, your skin or your blood vessels, and have them do something in order to reverse the issue. All right, and this is a great chart right here. This is negative feedback. Body's going to do the opposites to bring you back to normal. If you have any questions on this, please let me know.